So I will now share a screen to you regarding the lesson for our third lesson for intro to Philo. So you have this. I hope everybody can see this one. And then I'll share the screen for the slideshow. Okay. Where are you? I can't see everybody. There. So can everybody see this? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This discussion talks about the human person seen as an embodied spirit. This is also our third lesson, our last lesson before your preliminary exams. Your prelims are scheduled on next week. There are terms that we should importantly define. In understanding the human person as an embodied spirit, we need to know what the word man is. In philosophy, the word man is generally used to refer to the entire human race. Take note, in philosophy, we do not want to appear sexist or anything. We just want to use one word to stand for the entirety of the human race, and that word is man. In philosophy, when this word is used, this is not to exclude women. This already includes women. You also have another term, which is human, and it refers to man as a species. The word human being is to be set differently from the word human. The word human just refers to man as species. Human being is a term that distinguishes man from other animals. You have another term, personhood, which is the state of being a person. And that person is a human being granted recognition of certain rights, protection, responsibilities, and above all, dignity, which we will also talk about later on. We will also focus on dignity. The word person refers to the totality of an individual that possesses awareness, self-determination, the capacity to interact with others and with him or herself. Lastly, last term is human nature, which refers to the characteristics that humans have, distinguishing humans from all other creatures. These traits are considered to form the essence of humanity. Without them, an individual may not be considered a human person. So what is then being defined? What is then the meaning of a human person? What does it mean to be a human person? To look at it, a human person will be examined in terms of 4 characteristics. You have self-awareness, self-determination, externality, and dignity. So a person is considered a human person if that being possesses these 4 characteristics: self-awareness, self-determination, externality, and dignity. To start, to have self-awareness, which is having a clear perception of oneself, including his thoughts, emotions, identity, and actions. Clarity of perceptions. The person should know the thoughts that he possesses, the emotions he's capable of expressing, who he really is, that's identity, and actions, what he is actually capable of doing. By the way, the use of the pronoun his here is just in reference to the word man. This, though, does not include, in philosophy, this will not exclude women. Self-awareness is driven by rationality or human thought. A person is aware of both his surroundings and himself, and he knows that he is living an experience, and the person is an active participant in that experience. By self-awareness, the person is surely certain that he is composed of experiences and that he experiences is a product of his or her, of his knowledge of who he is. All of these contribute to the self, which philosophers describe as the person who is aware, that is perceiving and experiencing reality. The word self there is already related to a person who perceives and experiences reality. It enables the exploration of an inner world which contains personal thoughts and ideas. As self-awareness have something to do with the perception of oneself, the inner world is explored in here. This is where interiority, or the quality of being focused on one's inner life and identity, comes in, which also gives rise to the concept of creativity. That a person can create within himself what is not yet existing outside. And having that inner world allows a person to create goals, dreams, and plans which may be realized through activity. By acknowledging that inner world, acknowledging that inner self, the person gets to develop his aspirations, what his dreams are, his plans are, which could be concretized. That's what the word activity pertains to. The goals, dreams, and plans formed in the process of self-awareness can be concretized. This is where, in the concept of self-awareness, this is where you can say, I am a person, I am here, I exist, I am present, I am alive, I am living at this very moment, and I exist. So these are the claims of a person who has self-awareness. He is aware of his presence. He is aware that he is alive. He is aware that he is living at a particular moment and that he exists for that moment. That's self-awareness. Another characteristic is self-determination, the capability of persons to make choices and decisions based on preferences and personal choices. You have the capability to monitor and regulate actions and be goal-oriented and self-directed. In simple words, we are persons because we act and we are aware of our actions. Our free will enables us to do actions whenever we want to and make various alternatives. This enables a person to act willfully, control his actions, and recognize himself as the source of action. However, in the run of our discussions, the capability to act willfully will have to be exercised with responsibility, as freedom may not is not absolute at all. Anyway, that's on a different discussion. Consequence, when you do the choice of, when you do choices, when you make choices and decisions, one has to be ready with a possible consequence. So what is a consequence? A consequence is the result or effect of an action or condition. A person acts freely and with due regard for the consequences of his actions. So that's one good thing, that when a person exercises his free will, that is in recognition to a consequence that will come out once that free will is exercised. That when a choice is made, when a decision is made, a person should be made aware, should be ready of the possible effects or result, which we term as consequence. In fact, the concept of consequence is closely tied to morality, the goodness or badness of an act. Human action is such an important aspect of the person that many philosophers consider it as a way to reveal a person's true nature. In fact, human acts complete the person. Through these actions, his inner self is revealed. This is where you'll say, again, you recognize that you're a person. You claim that my actions are my very own and are made freely. I know that I am the cause of my actions. I know that my actions have consequences. So there, it's a recognition that the person, it's a recognition that there are consequences once an action is taken. Once a decision is made, consequences come. Another characteristic, externality, which is the capability to reach out and interact with others and the world. Externality recognizes that yes, you have already been aware of yourself, self-awareness. You have to also engage yourself with the people that surround you. You have to reach out and interact with others and the world. Heck, you are placed in a world where it's composed of several people. You need to interact with them. The realization that we are not alone and that there are indeed other people around us enables us to reach out and establish meaningful relationships with others. That's externality. Externality provides the concept of building meaningful relationships with people around you. I don't know. As to the scope of the relationships, that's basically up to you. If it's a matter of familial relationships, if it's a matter of intimate relationships, casual relationships, these are all up to you for as long as you've established meaningful relationships with others. Philosophers consider man as a social being and that a person never exists in isolation. Man is gregarious by nature. Let's keep that in mind. Man is gregarious. Man is supposed to be sociable. Man has a natural tendency to seek out fellow human beings, and the relationship established by this interaction is a vital component for survival. There's even, I think it was John Donne, who said that no man exists for himself, something like that. He is an island. That no man is an island for himself. That's the line. That no man is an island for himself. Our interactions with others define our existence as persons. We grow and develop not only through our thoughts and actions, but also through the influence of other people in our lives and the individuals we meet and interact. This is really true. The development of who we are is influenced by our dealings with other people. You cannot expect yourself to reach your potential development if you are just acting by also mean that you should be influenced all the time. It's just a recognition that the world exists and you are there. And this world is composed of several other beings that you ought to be interacting with. In the field of externality, you say, again, you are a person, you value others. You interact with others in meaningful ways, and you value that relationship with, and you say, I have grown as a person because I've had meaningful interactions with people I've met in my life. Last characteristic of the human person is dignity. Above all, that's one thing that was said earlier. And in fact, this is the reason behind this. Why would you say that you value others? In return, why would you say that others can value you? Because of dignity. This is the innate right to be valued and respected. All human beings have an inherent worth or value. For someone to say you're worthless, that is an insult since it attacks the very notion of a person having value or worth. That's why if you hear other people say this, it's really an attack to dignity, because upon birth, one is already endowed with this. It's an inborn, it's an innate right to be valued and respected. Each person is worth the same as another person, in the sense that every person is priceless, unique, unrepeatable, and irreplaceable. In fact, in relation to the other three characteristics, Once someone has developed self-awareness, has exercised responsibly self-determination, and has developed a sense of externality, that person becomes indispensable or also not interchangeable. Once a person has developed a sense of dignity, you get to develop as well that notion that no person is dispensable or interchangeable, as each person has his or her worth. And that also makes it difficult for people to be separated from each other. Dignity or self-worth or your value, the way you have valued other people or the way other people have valued you, makes separation a difficult and painful experience. Once your value has been known or once you have seen the value of other people, it won't be easy for you to get yourself separated from them. Separation anxiety. Human dignity is rooted in the nature of the human being, meaning a person has dignity simply because of the fact that he is human. The innate right to be valued. Dignity is not defined by outside factors like intelligence, beauty, skills. No. Dignity is already inherent. It's innate. One's value is not dictated by wealth. A person's value is not dictated by wealth. It's not dictated by how intelligent the person is seen to be, how beautiful that person is seen to be. Dignity is not dictated by the skills that a person can actually execute. Dignity is not dictated by the number of friends that you have, by the cliques that a person has developed in the community. No, it's naturally inherent in each of us. A person retains his dignity in spite of his actions or behavior. Dignity drives us to seek what is good, and doing good upholds and promotes dignity of the human person. This is something that I've learned in a religious education subject. Though this is outside in the context of philosophy, in this philosophy subject, for religious education, this is what I learned in Re-Ed 3, that our human dignity is, in relation to the goodness of dignity, our dignity is rooted in our creator or maker. Our dignity, human dignity, is supposed to be good to begin with. From the very dignity is supposed to be good because it's that this dignity came from a being, an almighty being who is an exemplification of goodness. That is why also seek what is good. And by continually doing good deeds, we are promoting our human dignity or the dignity of the human person. You have continued doing good deeds, you have there recognized human rights. When you do something good, and that is not to be, not to offend someone, offend other people, not to encroach over the rights of other people, that is a recognition that human rights exist. This is where you say that you are a person. Yeah, I am a person. I am a person with dignity. You are not just a person, but you're a person with dignity. And since you have acknowledged your dignity, you have recognized that others have dignity as well. And then I must uphold human dignity in my thoughts and actions. What is in our human nature that enables us to become persons? It's our spirit. Another aspect of the human that defines us as persons is the spirit. This is an intangible element which enables us to exercise thought. It allows us to possess awareness, interiority, and the capacity to reach out to the outside world and other persons. To be able to fully master these characteristics or to be able to fully manifest these characteristics, we have the spirit. That is why the human person is an embodied spirit. How are the body and the spirit related? Philosophers consider the human person as the defined union of the body and the spirit that makes the human person an embodied spirit. It's a body with a spirit, so it's an embodied spirit. The body and the spirit are not only united, but they're integrated with each other. An embodiment enables us to do and experience all the things that make us human persons. If not for this spirit embodying this human person, we will not be able to fully maximize those characteristics. According to science, love is a result of various biological reactions associated with an increase in hormones, which may have certain effects on the human body. However, philosophy sees it differently with the inflection of embodiment. When embodiment comes in, philosophy looks at love this way. Human persons do not love just with the heart nor with the brain. We love another person with our entire being. Embodiment is that one thing that enables us to feel love and love others. See the difference? Without embodiment, the concept of love is clearly seen as a biological reaction related to an increase in hormones. But by the inflection of a spirit, the human person defines love differently. That love is beyond what the heart nor the brain experiences. It is the capacity to love one another with one's entire being, and that it is this presence of the spirit or embodiment that enables us to feel love and extend love to other people. In the concept of embodiment, the human body stands as the mediator between the material world and the spiritual world. Being an embodied spirit, the person is able to encounter the world of objects in a manner that transcends the physical. This feature allows him to form intimate relationships with those outside him. Lastly, human embodiment allows persons to attach certain feelings or ideas not only to people but also to objects. This now goes beyond what the material things are just simply defined. Since embodiment includes the spirit, this is where we get to also attribute meanings to the things around us. How these things mean to us. We have here an example. A pair of shoes as a present from a loved one. Outside of embodiment, the pair of shoes is just seen as a regular pair of objects worn for the feet to protect it from any possible harm or to provide comfort, period. However, by inflecting embodiment, that pair of shoes is attached with sentimental value as it is seen to be a present from a significant person or from a loved one. Like if someone gives you a bag or a plush toy, outside the concept of embodiment, that plush toy, that stuffed toy, is just seen as an object with which has that shape, and it contains some stuffing inside that makes it squishy. But with the concept of embodiment, that plush toy is seen to be a significant gift, perhaps by someone who you consider emotionally relevant to you. Like if it's a gift from a significant other, if it's a gift from a crush, from your parents, meanings are attached to the object because of embodiment. With human embodiment, physical acts are no longer purely physical acts because the body conveys something from a person's inner world. Like a pat on the shoulder from your idol, a smile from your crush, a kiss from your partner will create intense emotional reaction in you. Embodiment allows this. Outside of embodiment, a pat will just remain to be an act. A smile will just remain to be a gesture, an act. as well as a kiss. But with embodiment, we attach feelings, meanings to these actions. These examples show that it is through embodiment that a person is able, to have a very unique relationship with the world. And this unique relationship defines us as humans. However, human nature still has limits. Despite its being an embodied spirit, human nature still has limits. It can be said that the person is very biologically deficient being. It's quite expected for man to meet his limitations. We do not like the natural ability to fly, that's not in us. We cannot breathe underwater without using breathing apparatus. We cannot survive in certain environments like other animals. These are just a few of the limitations of human beings. However, these limitations did not totally define us. We have used our intellect to devise means to achieve several feats. This ability to surpass limits is called transcendence. And it is also one important trait that distinguishes us, human persons, from other beings in existence. Just because we do not have the natural ability to fly doesn't mean that we were not able to experience flight. Think of that. Just because we do not naturally breathe underwater doesn't mean that we did not enjoy the chance of exploring the underwaters or the waters in the depths of the oceans and the seas. Our intellect allowed us to find ways in order to surpass these natural limitations. And that's transcendence. Our mind in transcendence is an important tool that allows us to go beyond many of our physical limits. Although we have these physical limitations, we can transcend them because of our spiritual dimension. And we also have our inclinations that allow us to surpass these limitations. Some of these are felt bodily functions like hunger, fatigue. And transcendence means overcoming oneself or being in control even if the body reminds us of certain tendencies. Although these tendencies are felt, the person can govern them and ensure that they are exercised within the bounds of reason. Each individual carries within himself the possibility of transcending his limits by exerting effort and perseverance. So again, your intellect will tell you that you should exercise effort and you should persevere more. So those who are, I don't know if some of you, I'm just not sure if this is familiar to you. I'd like to see, where are you, participants? I can't see the participants. There. I don't know if you're a fan of Black Clover. Who is a fan of Black Clover? Yami, the captain of the Black Bulls, is fond of saying this expression. Remember? He has kept on pushing the Black Bulls to always surpass their limits. And surpassing their limits meant exercising more effort, being more persevering. One episode that the last episode that I've seen, I haven't seen the recent episodes of Black Clover. The last scene that I've seen in the series was when they went to that volcanic area, and that there was a dungeon there. Even Leopold pushed himself beyond his limits, because if he did not, then his limits will make him so deprived of what he could have obtained from that dungeon. So he surpassed his limits, and so did the other characters of the series. In transcendence, philosophy gives us useful tools to explore our limits and possibilities. This is to acknowledge our limitations identify possibilities for development, and change ourselves for the better. So that's how transcendence also works. You should know what your limitations are. And you should try to find or devise a list of ways by which you could try to surpass them and eventually change yourself for the better. Opening yourself to new experiences and ideas is another aspect of transcendence. Being open to novel experiences and ideas, that's transcendence. That's surpassing your old self. If you stick to who you really are, or not, sorry. If you stick to who you are just there and then, without opening yourself to the possibility that you can do more, then you have not transcended yourself yet. If you're aware that you can do more, that you are beyond what you are experiencing or showing right now, then that's transcendence. If you claim that you are just up to point C without being open to the possibility that you can go and reach point D, you have lost transcendence. Our capacity for transcendence gives us the opportunity to work toward becoming better versions of ourselves. And there you have it. As of this time, there is a quiz that I'm going to assign in Edmodo. What I'd like you to do is you answer it using a 1/4 sheet of paper or a notebook perhaps, and then you take a picture. I think I given the instructions last night. You take a picture of your answer and send it to Edmodo. There's a message tab in Edmodo. You should answer it through the message tab of Edmodo. There's a time limit for this. I'll now be assigning the quiz. Assign. Send to. Please start opening your Philo groups now. Edmodo
Sir,
Philo groups.
sir, I have a question, sir. In
Yes,
the
yes.
case of Alona, sir, she is not present because she went to Taoist, sir, from another location. She,
Anyway, it's Alona's concern already, James. Let she be the one to communicate that to me.
it's because I'm also the class press, so she directed it to me to tell you guys.
And because that's a different arrangement. That's my arrangement with Alona.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Today is 8. Due date is 9:30. Due date is 9:35.
Can I review for a while, sir?
I'll already assign it. You're given only 10 minutes to work on it. It's already been assigned. I think you can see it now in your Edmodo walls. Again, you will not answer it. You will not answer it, but you'll you will not answer it in Edmodo. You'll answer on a separate sheet of paper. You'll take a picture of the paper and send the picture to me. But you'll keep the Zoom cameras on. It's already in the Edmodo page for Intro to Philo.
Okay, to review for a little while, sir.
Again, the quiz is already started. There are just 2 questions there.
Can you see me, sir?
Yeah, I can see you, sir. There are only 2 questions.
Okay, nice.
Those are essay questions. I just want to see you now because I don't want your answer to these essay questions to come from somewhere else. What I should see would be you doing this. That's what I should see. Have you now seen the questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If you now see the questions, how could... Jana, why is it that you only ask for the code now? Here's the code. I'm sending the code in the chat box, Jana. Jana, I've already sent the code. And my class isn't locked, so you can get in.
The young person develop his or her sense of externality.
Hey, Edson, you don't have to read it out loud.
Sir, can I urinate for a while, sir?
Yes, Josh, it's all right.
Thank you, sir.
So it is expected that when something like this is done, you should be holding a pen and a paper, that you are not touching anything on the screen, you are not holding the mouse or the mouse pad of your laptop. It should just look like this. Okay. I like what Sean is doing and what James is also doing. They're really showing me the working area where the paper can be found, and them writing on that paper can also be seen. Yeah, Alan, I also like what you're doing, Alan. I could see both of your hands.
Sir, is it okay to look at the question?
Yeah, you can look at the question. You don't try to also angle yourselves in a way that you can see the question from time to time.
Please. Okay.
And so your frame is frozen, if that's your concern. There, you're moving already.
Sir, do we have to copy the question?
Yeah, you don't have to copy the questions, number and then answer. Anyway, your answer there speaks already of a particular question, so there's no need. The question is already there.
Thank you for the inspirational quote.
The position of my camera, fine, sir.
Should you?
Yeah, that's fine, Josh. Your frame is frozen again, sir.
I don't know, sir.
Coffee time! Muli tubig!
The scores for your answers will be given perhaps tonight, because after this, I still have a class. I still have one more class.
Dito sila dyan tadi, jalan sila adjustment, regista.
Once you're done, you can take a picture of your answer and then you can leave now the Zoom call. Don't need to provide long answers. I don't ask for long answers. Grade 11, it's already time. Please take a picture of your answers now and then send them to me through the Edmodo message tab. And then when you're done, you can leave the because that has concluded our discussion for today.